Nocturnal Animals is a dramatic thriller directed by Tom Ford and starring Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal. I really did like Tom Ford's first movie, which was A Single Man. It was the first movie that I watched where I actually thought movies can be artistic. They can have something more than just action, adventure and fun stuff like that. It was a very good dramatic movie with great cinematography, great use of colors, and it really stuck with me. Even to this day I still really like that movie, even after 5 years since I watched it the last time. And I was really excited for Nocturnal Animals, and I also wanted to watch it at the Festival of Venice when it first came out, but I couldn't. Unfortunately, it was very darn late. So it finally came out here in Italy, first than in the US, which is rare, really damn rare. And what is the movie about? The movie is about Susan, someone who works in the art business, who is living a really sad and lonely life with her new husband, played by Armie Hammer. And one day, her husband goes out of town for business, and she receives a manuscript from her ex-husband, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. And this manuscript is entitled Nocturnal Animals, and it's about a family who is tormented by 3 men who are crazy and insane. And it's about a family vacation that turns really bad. So I won't go further into the plot. The only real thing that you need to know is that in the movie you see both the story of Susan in the real world and the story of the novel as it unfolds and as she reads it. And I have to say, the more I think about this movie, this is probably the best movie of the year, and not necessarily the most enjoyable movie. It's not like The Nice Guys. It's not a fun movie to watch at all. It's actually very sad and depressing, but I just loved everything about it. It's a near perfect movie in my book. Some people are not going to like it because it is kind of slow, especially in the beginning. The opening of the movie, it's weird, and I'm going to spoil it for you. It's an art gallery that the main character Susan is opened, and it's with all the fat, naked women dancing in slow motion. It was artistic, it was weird, and it does play into some of the themes of the movie, but I watched it with a friend and he was completely taken out of it. He was like, "Don't tell me the entire movie is going to be like this, please." And it wasn't, thankfully. I was almost expecting something closer to the Neon Demon in terms of style, but thankfully it wasn't as artistic or as over the top and ambiguous. It is a pretty straightforward movie that has multiple layers that you can explore. And the acting is phenomenal. Every single actor does a fantastic job. And there are some good cameos, let's say, actors that are just in one scene who do steal those scenes that they're in, but the best ones are easily Amy Adams as Susan, who really does sell the sad, lonely woman, and we also get to see some flashbacks of her when she was with Jake Gyllenhaal, and she's relatively happier, and she does play really well the character. And then you have Jake Gyllenhaal himself, who is always great in every movie. This is going to be another one of those he should deserve at least an Oscar nomination that he's not going to get, but he plays both the real character, the ex-husband, and the main character of the novel, and he does a fantastic job in that as well. And then you have, inside the novel, 2 other characters played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is one of the maniacs, and Michael Shannon, who is a sheriff. And they are both incredible. I was very surprised by Aaron Taylor Johnson because in most movies I remember him mostly as Kick-Ass in 2010, and he was fun in that, but he felt very stilted, and even in movies after that he wasn't really a standout performer, let's say. But in this movie he completely sold me with his acting abilities. If he has the right script, he can do a great job, and he was very great as this crazy lunatic maniac. And also Michael Shannon. When he first came up on the screen, I saw the movie, I was the only kid in the audience, I was the only teenager, everyone else was over 60 years old, at least, and once Michael Shannon came on screen, some people were like, "Oh, it's gonna get ugly with him," and it kind of does, but Michael Shannon always plays weird characters. His character here is weird, but he always tells it. And I do love Michael Shannon. He deserves to be in more movies, and he deserves better roles, bigger roles. Also, the movie does look amazing, and it's kind of a contrast in how it's made. First of all, there are many stylistic choices. For example, parallel images of what's happening in the movie, in the book, and what's happening in the actual real life story. There are parallels. You also don't know if some of those images are actually in real life themselves. So it's very interesting how it's made. There are also sound effects that connect to what's happening in the real world. It's very stylistic choices that I do love very much. And the cinematography also, it's either very long faraway shots of someone walking alone, or otherwise it's just very close close-ups and you can see the face of every actor, and you pretty much learn to know every single inch of the face of Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal, especially the eyes, and they are beautiful eyes, can't deny that, gorgeous eyes. And also the soundtrack, which is made by the same one who composed A Single Man. It's haunting and beautiful at the same time. It really does complement the film in very great ways. And also a lot of people, just for parents or whatever, if you are on the fence about how the actual graphical content of the movie is, in terms of nudity, it's just the first scene with the naked little old fat ladies, because otherwise there isn't nudity in the movie, even though there are talks about rape and other unpleasant things. And then in terms of actual violence, it is a violent movie, but it's not bloody and gory, which I really did appreciate. And the violence still hit pretty hard when it happened, but it wasn't gratuitous, it wasn't bloody, it wasn't gory, and I respect that. And I also do think that if you're on the fence because of the violence, you can definitely watch it. It's not something horrible, it's not Green Room or anything like that. So take it as you want, but I think it's not a problem if you dislike violence. So overall, I do think that this is the best movie I've seen all year. Maybe there's going to be some other movie if I manage to watch La La Land, Arrivals, a couple of other movies that I really want to watch this year before it ends, if they come out in Italy. Hopefully they will. But otherwise, this right now is in my #1 spot. It's not a fun movie, it's not enjoyable, but it's a very sad and depressing look on romance, on how people just change and how we approach romance in real life. It's a thought-provoking movie. You can analyze it on multiple levels. It's not for everyone, it's very slow, it's very artistic, but not overly artistic like a Nicolas Winding Refn movie. It's more like A Single Man, honestly. They're very similar in the approach. Definitely watch Nocturnal Animals, I recommend it quite a lot. I loved everything about it, and I hope you like it as well. So, have you seen Nocturnal Animals? Do you want to see it? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.